So Ty, I'm super excited to have this conversation. I have been a Vivobarefoot user since 2014, and I even had the same shoes that I had in 2014 all the way through into like 2023. And and so and the reason why I'm saying that is because it takes a lot to move me off a brand that I really like. And when you guys came and approached us with Groundz, I immediately resistant, skeptical, because I'm loyal too. And but I listened to what you said about the product. Had some other people using it. I liked the leather soles initially, which I really did like. But the leather soles also don't work in my lifestyle, where I'm always in water and around in nature and stuff like that. So the idea of having a rubber-based product that also did what I wanted, which is conduct electricity. So you were the first product that was out there that actually met those two. So I said, I'm going to give this a try. And I gave it a try. I used your products, I used the shoes, and I wore them for about 7 months. And I wore them in through the ocean. I got them wet. I got sand in them. I got mud in them. I put dirty feet in them. I washed them. I beat them up. And I literally beat the crap out of your shoes just to see, more than I would even with my Vivos, just to see if they would last. And they did. And what I wanted to say is that the surprising thing about it is that that I did like I have this fascination with having nothing. Like moccasins I wear if I didn't slip everywhere. But the thinness was something I really liked, and these were just a little thicker. So I was thinking, okay, what happens when I go back to my Vivos? I went back to my Vivos and put them on and tried to wear them for 3 days. And I couldn't wait to get them off constantly. And it took that period of time. And what I would say was the access to what I thought was the thinness or the control of my foot, and the greater access to what my body wanted was to be connected. The connection won over. And I know you're making all kinds of different brands and improving all the time, but I wanted to share that experience with you because I feel that when we're connected with the key to health is connection, not necessarily my foot. The mechanics are my foot, but the connection is how my cells work. It's how the grounding and how grounding facilitates healing in the body, and how all the electrons in the cells work. And that's the most powerful thing. So that was the biggest change. So I want to give you, that's my 7-month review of the product. And I'm hooked. I'm sold.
Amazing. I'm ecstatic. I mean, first of all, thank you so much for wearing them for that long and trying them out everywhere. We made them for that purpose. I mean, we want you to be connected. That's the main idea behind the shoe. It's true, they're a little bit thicker than Vivos. Vivos I think are 4 millimeters. Ours are about 7.
Yeah.
So just under half. I mean, just double the thickness of Vivos. And we're trying, to constantly, improve the product and doing it a little bit thinner and all that stuff. The issue that we had is combining the two together, and we couldn't make it as thin. But we are working on some alternatives and some options of actually, reducing the thickness of it. So hopefully in the future that'll be available as well.
And when it is, great, but the connection far outweighs that small amount of performance. And I wanted to say that because we have a lot of, after supporting Vivo for 10 years, we have a lot of people that use Vivo, and I know that was my hesitation to change.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, connection is, like you're saying, is the most important thing. We evolved as human beings, as actually any being evolved, connected to the earth in some way. And yeah, that was and still is our motto. I mean, we want to be connected. We want to ground you and have you feel what it does to us, and you know it personally. And we want everybody else to experience the same benefit. And of course, I mean, you'll probably touch on the benefits of grounding and what that does
Sure.
to people. Yeah, but
so
yeah.
So the way that we do this, and just so everybody knows, is that these black spots, which you also have metal and black spots, even on the ones that you're using.
So
Yeah.
on these ones, these ones are conducted with the same carbon black material right here, but they do come, I don't know if the camera can see this, they come with copper rivets.
Yeah, so it's a copper rivet, and
yeah.
then to the
Yeah, I can take my sandal off.
it's a
as well.
copper rivet, and it's connected to metal. But so people that don't know, because they're thinking plastic, like
Right.
I don't particularly prefer plastic or non-organic fabrics, but carbon black. Tell me a little bit about carbon black and why, because it's not plastic, it's something that's different.
Right. So carbon black is a material. It's it comes as a powder actually when it's in its. I mean, when it comes, into the warehouse, and we have to blend it in a way with natural and there is some synthetic components in there, but we blend it in, and it maintains a conductivity that's actually higher in our case than human skin. So we get it to a point where it's, I mean, I won't give you the exact numbers and details. That's not, that interesting. But it turns out, and from testing that we've done, the blend that we create is more conductive than human skin. So you're getting that much conductivity through the shoes. Of course, walking barefoot, touching your skin to the ground is the best. There's nothing better. But the carbon black that we use, that material actually allows the same, if not more, conductivity through the shoes and into the ground and into your body.
That's amazing. So it actually, so you're actually getting more, because it's actually amplifying the body's natural electricity.
Absolutely.
So it's even better than just the rivet, because there is a lot of conversion kits for grounding shoes to drive a rivet in, which, by the way, I didn't never resonate with those, because I could always feel it and I never felt completely comfortable. So so the idea of doing that, you're driving more connectivity, and
Correct.
and then what I also noticed in these in particular, you're back to then natural, organic, like leather.
Right.
And that's again really important. So you're combining the best of two worlds. My foot is touching leather in this sandal example, and the bottom is getting not only a rivet ground, but also the full spectrum of carbon.
Exactly. So this is kind of a mixture of both worlds, more of a natural type shoe. This is a sneaker, and we are using as many natural materials as we can in the shoe as well, but limited, because we have to, use some others as well.
So, what's the story behind it? Like, Ty, you have two other brothers. You're partners in this. Like, your background and why you're here, because I think the story is really important.
Absolutely. So my background is in dietetics. I studied food science and nutrition, and I've always been into the health and wellness space. It's always been a great interest of mine. My dad was diagnosed with some heart issues when I was a teenager, and that started my journey. And when I was in my late teens, almost into my 20s, I started feeling a little bit bad. I had some issues with my own health, and I started researching and found out that I had irritable bowel disease.
Yeah.
I have Crohn's myself. And I searched, what am I doing wrong? What's going on? Like, why am I feeling this way? Why is this happening to me? And I've tried to solve that issue ever since. So I've been, on this journey on my own. And I've found at some point or other the concept of grounding and what grounding does for people. And of course, it's another addition to everything else that we have in our arsenal, and what you guys are doing, and everything else that's out there. And I just thought that this is amazing. This is such a wonderful, easy concept that people have no clue about. They just don't know anything about grounding, and it's such an innate, natural thing that we should be doing every day. We should be either walking barefoot or grounding at the beach if we can, or just grounding in any way possible every day. And that will improve our health. This will
Massively improve the health. And we were talking to Dr. Brian Ardis, who has busted the myths on different viral loads and things that are going on out there, and diseases, including IBS, by the way. And his research from all the government data says that there's basically a couple things that the biggest one is to get good water, get good air, is to ground in nature and get good light. And the only other thing that he recommends is actually nicotine. So those are the components for health. And ironically is like nicotine comes in, I was telling you earlier, comes in things like eggplant, tomatoes, white potatoes, like very, very high sources of it, which we wouldn't think because you think nicotine is more like cigarettes. But all of those things can work, but if you're not grounding, they don't work right. And the reason why, because you can do everything right, and if your cells don't have the right electrical charge, then the body doesn't utilize all the resources well. And we've been finding this out because there are a lot of people in the health or dietetics or in the health side that have been doing everything right and still having problems. Now, if you're, I do know people who ground and get in nature and they spend a lot of time in nature, I know that their diseases always generally go away. But I see people do everything else right and not that one thing because of their circumstances sometimes, live in a city or whatever. But I see that that is the one component. Like if you don't ground, if you don't get your the electrons flowing in your body properly, then your body can't utilize the resources.
That's right. Yeah, I'm a true believer. I mean, that's why I choose to do it, and I think people will benefit from it greatly if they did a little bit more of it on a daily basis. I mean, there's many, many studies. There's I don't know if you've seen the movie, the grounding movie, where they show people with these uncurable diseases digging a hole in the ground under their house or next to their house and sleeping in it at night.
Yeah.
And in about a week, like their back issues. I'm not gonna, go into crazy ailments, but maybe, stuff that's like pains, aches and pains, just go away.
There's a removal of symptoms of almost every disease when you conduct the electricity in the body.
Right.
And the other thing too is sometimes you see me online. I do where people try to pick me up. I get them to try and pick somebody up.
I've done that with you guys, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm 182 pounds, roughly 182. And I take somebody else who's 182 pounds and they can't lift them up and they lift me like I'm light like a feather without doing anything. Part of the reason why is because I spend so much time grounded. So even the physical attributes of weight and weight distribution, that's why I feel so light. That's why I feel so young. Because if we're moving throughout the course of the day, most people, they move, and I think they can relate to this. They move throughout the day, and towards the end of the day, they feel tired and lethargic. The reason you feel tired and lethargic, and you know that, it's like I want to sit down on the couch, I don't want to move. There's a difference as I'm had a impactful day, and I just want to shut off, but I want to go walk or want to do something. But when people get to that point where they had a busy day and they don't even want to move, that's because they feel restricted. And the biggest aspect of restricting I have found is whether they're grounding throughout the day. And if they ground throughout the day, they feel they're lighter in their body. If they feel they're light in their body, they'll continue to move, which is actually the answer to move all the energy through the body that they accumulate.
That's right. And people might, relate it to what you just said, people might ask, okay, so how do I ground all day long? I'm sitting at an office, building, I'm not touching the ground. So there's ways to do that. There's mats and things like this that you can use. You can actually plug that into the outlet and be grounded every day. I have one on my office desk where I just place my keyboard and I'm touching my hands, so I'm grounding. And how does this relate to my shoes? You can also put the mat on the ground and just step on it, basically. Yeah. So in that way, you can ground every day, even in locations where you're not able to otherwise.
Actually, if you're wearing grounding shoes and you're touching the ground here, because this technically is connected to the ground, you can increase the level.
So wood would actually not ground you.
No, wood won't.
Won't, right?
But we're usually in concrete or metal.
Yeah, so concrete. So if you're on a concrete slab, you would ground every day. Yeah, wearing the shoes, being barefoot, absolutely. Yeah. So there's different surfaces. I can mention them if you want me to. Obviously, if we're talking about industrial surfaces, it would be a concrete surface most likely. Tiles, sometimes it depends on how they
lay the tile.
How they lay the tile.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's different
like
methods.
the real good tiles, the rock ones, stuff like that. Those tend to work. The cheaper tiles, I find they don't.
That's right. So it depends on the tile itself. It also depends on the material that they use to bond the tile to the substrate. So if they used some type of glue, it might prevent the grounding. Sometimes there's different ways you can use it. Sand. It depends on the method that the tile.
Do you actually provide any resources for people to tell them how to ground?
Absolutely. So you can go to the website,
Yeah.
groundz.com. There's a lot of information there. You can go in and do some studies and look at some studies and read a lot about it. So absolutely.
Does anybody ever mistake it for coffee?
I think from the name they do, and people always ask us, how the hell did you get that name? You should have sold it to Starbucks.
Yeah, because it's such a catchy name.
Right.
And the way that it's spelled and stuff like that is phonetically it's awesome.
Right. Thank you. Yeah.
So what's the future? What's the long-term intention?
So we want to bring grounding to everybody's attention. Obviously, it's something that's still such a hidden element of human health, and we want to just bring it out there and have people know about it, obviously through our shoes, but through other products as well that we will promote and do promote. There's a lot of people, one more thing. I know we're on the topic of grounding, but the shoes are not only grounding, they're also barefoot for people that are maybe unaware of that.
So wide toe box.
Wide toe box.
And I can move all of my toes. I can curl them in there. That's important.
Plenty of space.
Yeah,
exactly. So all of our products, all of our shoes are always wide toe, including, you can see the shape of these sandals right here. And people, ask, oh, they look a little funny and, they're not fashionable, but we do try to make our products very fashionable.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you that's changing. That really is. I'm in central Canada, in Winnipeg, and it happened to me in Chicago. And two people, they're not common. You don't normally see a lot of the health-related, especially clothing products out there. You see it West Coast, Miami, stuff like that, maybe New York a little bit. And I had two people come up to me, one in Winnipeg, one in Chicago, and they, wow, those are great shoes, and asking me about the shoes, which I was completely surprised. Normal to get that if you're around here. But so they fashionably, I think people are starting to consciously see them and see that wide toe box.
I agree, and I honestly think that this is, in the next 5 to 10 years, this is going to be mainstream. This is going to be the future of footwear, I think.
Yeah.
We're in the front lines, but hopefully not for a long time, and we'll be mainstream, and everybody will hear, and everybody will have grounding barefoot shoes.
So the other thing too is I don't wear socks. I don't believe in what I call foot coffins. So the other thing too for people here, because this is important, and the ones that I've used before, I've always had to replace them over and over again. I literally beat the crap out of this, and it still worked. Right. So tell me why this particular insole, and tell me what the cork does and stuff like that.
Sure. So the cork itself is a natural antimicrobial.
Yeah.
So it's perfect to wear it with or without socks.
Yeah.
Sweat absorbs into it, but it doesn't make it smell. So there's never going to be any,
doesn't
odors.
smell.
Yeah,
even with salt water.
Yeah. They just work great. That's why we chose to use them. The underside of it is a bio-based foam. So we use a lot of natural materials in that as well. We try to, again, like I said, we try to make the shoe as natural as possible.
As much as you can.
As much as possible.
Yeah, there's just certain things you can't. Yeah.
Right, some we can, and of course, we work with materials constantly to try and get more and more of it available. Yeah, and the sole is, we try to keep it as thin as possible, like you like, but thick enough where it doesn't, start to scrunch and lose its shape.
Yeah.
And that's why it's we've been able to have it last longer than usual. So it's like there's a thin line between thickness and materials that we use.
Performance and function.
Right, and I don't know if the audience could see, but there's stainless steel stitching that runs throughout the cork outsole, and that's what creates the grounding effect.
That's what it is. Okay, stainless steel. Okay.
Stainless steel stitching, and with silver. So it's silver thread. There's some silver content in it as well.
Yeah. So that's actually right here.
The stitching right here. Yeah, it's not just regular stitching. This is the conductive stitching that we use.
Okay.
And that touches, in turn, more stitching that's inside the shoe, and then it touches the outsole, which is the carbon black that we were talking about earlier, which grounds you.
So. And this is the sneaker product. Now we've got the originals, which are the leather loafer style.
The loafer styles, right, which we have here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
And
wanna
by the
show
way,
them.
the only two shoes I carry now is, it's funny because I took my Vivos and I put them in my suitcase just to see, and just naturally through traveling the world, I just never took them out. So that's the only two I carry. I carry the suede nubuck or suede leather ones, and I carry these ones. And I find what's really cool is I can wear that because I don't wear socks. I can wear that with dress pants, which I almost never wear.
I don't think I've ever seen you with pair
Yeah,
of
I've only worn it a couple times, but I wear it with with dress pants and a blazer, and then I can also wear it with shorts, and it looks good with both.
Right. So the original shoes. So we started making sandals. Our original product was women's sandals, which we obviously still have on the website. This was my attempt of creating the most natural shoe I possibly could, and this one is probably 99% natural. We even use a clay instead of glue in.
Here, let's
you
actually
wanna
bring
them?
that up.
Yeah.
Here, let me grab these. This is my actual pair. Yeah.
Right. So everything here you see is natural. So the rubber is natural. There's a midsole made from buffalo leather.
Yeah.
In this case this is nubuck, but some of ours are suede, as so you were mentioning. Inside, it's again buffalo insole that's stitched into the frame of the shoe. So everything there is super natural, and that was my attempt of creating a shoe that I would want to wear every day, all the time, in any situation. And like I said, dressing up, dressing down.
So because it's buffalo, I'm gonna bison.
Like that.
I'm gonna buy some more because it's buffalo.
All right.
I used that joke yesterday. It was funny because she said bison, and I said I'd rather have buffalo.
Right.
Yeah, no, but so it's naturally stitched inside. Super comfortable, easy to wear. And the other thing too is I have a high instep, so typically loafers don't stay on my feet. These ones, for whatever reason, stay on my feet, and I think it's probably the design through here.
Right. So we designed the back of it pretty narrow, and we use a heel pad.
Oh, you put the heel pad inside.
There's a little bit of heel pad. Yeah.
Okay, that's why.
Prevents the heels from coming out.
Yeah, because that's my biggest issue is that there's a heel pad, because normally I would have to put a heel pad inside,
Right.
but I haven't.
We had some versions that don't have it, but in all the new ones we added that because people were saying, it's so hard. These shoes are, they have to fit your foot pretty well so they don't come out. And this was a solution for a lot of people where it actually, prevents the heel from climbing out and coming out. Another thing with these, for people that are actually going to try them, a lot of people, buy them and they feel like they're a little tight initially, but we do tell people, get them tight.
Yeah.
And
I can actually say that, because at first, I don't like any restriction on my body. So at first I'm like, that's tight, and actually it's starting to bend more, and it only took a couple weeks of, and what I just did is I warm like an hour or two a day just around the house for a couple weeks, and then my foot just naturally adapted. And
not just that, they will actually stretch by about a quarter of a size. So there's a physical stretch to the leather.
Now, for people looking at this, they're uncertain, they're going to look at it online. What about sizing? How do you tell them to size? Is there a sizing guide?
So we have, so on our website, there's sizing guides. They can download templates. They can, there's few different ways to go about it. All the information is on the website, but yes, definitely print a template, put your foot on it, follow the instructions, and anytime you need, email us, ask us any questions that you have.
So what happens if I order something, it's the wrong size?
Free shipping, free returns. Yeah. Always.
And I'm going to guess that there's not many returns on quality.
Never on quality. If anything, the returns would be usually on sizes. Yeah. Or some people, just couldn't handle the wide toe shape and they thought it was, funny, and people were, but usually, it's very rare. Yeah. And that people, definitely not on quality. That's nothing that usually happens.
So what's the end goal for you guys?
The end goal is to.
Is it just shoes, or are you moving into other things?
So for now, we wanna make. Well, we do anything that's to do with footwear. At the moment, I mean, yes, we will. We don't want to go into products that are just grounding, for example, because there's plenty other players out there. We want to be the best shoe company that makes grounding barefoot shoes. That's our end goal. Will we have other products? Sure, we will, if we feel like they're on point with our mission. But for now, we're going to keep it to mostly footwear, shoes, perhaps some clothing that that are also all natural and help you ground and get healthier.
So we have one of our long-term partners, Barefoot Sprinter, coming in to do some media tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
I just thought of it now, but I don't think he uses Groundz yet. I think we should probably try to get.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd love to be there if
Yeah.
possible.
I mean, he's one of the most because he's doing a book called Born to Sprint, and he's just got a publishing deal for it, and he's Graham Tuttle. Super cool guy. So I think we should probably get him to try it out and see where he's at. And he's a runner now. Moving more into athletics, is that one of the spaces you're going?
So yes, athletics. We want to get some running shoes available for people. Next, I think the next step would be some hiking shoes. Yeah. But we are working on some new models. You've seen some of them as well. They're going to be lifestyle shoes. There's going to be running shoes. There's going to be gym shoes. Obviously, our line of all natural, loafers is always available. New sandals coming for men, the ones that I'm wearing right here. Not just for men, actually. They're unisex. Yeah. So just a little bit more rugged. You can take these out, hiking. I've worn them to death as well. This is my third pair, and I'm just loving them. Everybody that puts them on, loves them too. So just bring, the best possible footwear, the most natural, healthy footwear we can provide people, and spread the word about, grounding through footwear, and just living a healthier life in general. Right on. Thank you for coming out and sharing today. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to expanding our partnership. Like I said, I really wanted to put these to the test before I made my switch, and I've definitely made my switch. That's amazing. Thank you so much for trying them and for having me here again. Yeah. Always great to see you. Okay, awesome.